I know. Me uploading a video 2 days after the last video is weird, but let's just move on. So, as I said in the last video, I will be making more variety content for this channel, like tutorials, reviews, etc. This case is, as you may have seen in the title, this is a tutorial for how to make a FPS character. I would just use a basic system, which is the easiest one to code. I will also leave the scripts down in the description for you all to download, so in case you are as lazy as I am and just want to get the code and are not willing to learn, you can just use that. So right now we're with the empty Unity project, and we're gonna do a quick setup. First than anything, keep everything organized. That's the greatest advice you can get. Keep it organized, else you're gonna just be going through thousands and thousands and thousands of folder. So now I like creating a folder called resources, and inside of it I just organize scripts, models, etc. You can do it however you want, or you can just keep it unorganized. It's up to you, but I'm gonna keep it organized for the sake of the video. Now here, create a C# script. This will be for the player, but you can name it as you want. I'm just gonna name it player straight up. Now let's create a new scene, and in this scene we're gonna do another quick setup. We'll go right click, 3D object, and create a terrain. Now again, right click, and we're gonna create a empty game object, and in the position we're gonna put it back to 0, so it's over there. I'm just gonna move it a bit forward. By the way, this is the second time recording this video because I'm stupid and I just started to record and then I realized I didn't have the program opened. So yeah, that's how smart I am. Now I'm gonna rename the game object player, and we're gonna do a couple of things. First, to player we're gonna add the player script. We're gonna go here to add component and add a capsule collider component, which this will be the collision for the player, so everything inside this capsule will be like solid. For the capsule collider I'm gonna give it just some average values. In height I'm gonna put it 2, and in the center I'm gonna put it to 1. This is a basic value, but you can give it whatever you want. It's up to you. Now let's add another component named Rigidbody. What is a Rigidbody? Well, basically it's physics. I'm gonna quickly show you the difference here. Here we've got a cube which doesn't have physics. Now we'll duplicate the cube, and I'm just gonna put a quick material for it. You don't have to do this. Now select the cube and Rigidbody. So here you can see the difference. This one has physics, so it falls. Simple. And you can also move it around and everything. You don't have to do this cube thing. That was just me showing to the people that are new to Unity. So for the physics I'm gonna put a mass of 100, and go here into constraints. So for constraints, the thing is the position, it's which positions and rotations is allowed for the Rigidbody to have. Like, can it be moved by another physics object or a moving object? This direction, this direction, or this direction. And same for the rotation. Can it be rotated this direction, or this direction? So we don't want our player falling to the sides and just rolling away. So we're gonna constrain the X and the rotation for X and I believe Z, right? I'm not so sure. I think it's Z. Yeah, Z. these are the sides and back and forward rotations. You can also do Y if you want. It doesn't really matter, but I'll just keep it like that for now. So now inside our player, delete this main camera that comes by default on the scene, and go into player, right click on it and create a camera. This camera, I'm gonna put it to the same height as the player, which is 2, and we're gonna use translate, which is it moves the object that has the script. Transform that translate, and inside of here, so it's gonna be like this 3 axes. Again, first number is the X, which is the sides. Second number will be up and down, and third number will be forward and backwards. In this case, in the third number for forwards, we're gonna put actually we forgot to do something, which is here on player movement, create a float named X, and this will be equals to input the get axis raw horizontal. So what we're doing here, horizontal axis equals A and D, or left and right arrow. So we're just getting the if or key is pressed. This is a smoother way to do it. Actually, it's supposed to be using a different way, but we're just gonna keep it like this, because if you do it this way, it also allows you for easier controller input. So this also you set up in case you want to do a game for PS4 or Xbox controller. So here in translate, we're gonna put Y times what is it, times walk speed times time dot delta time. It's important to use time dot delta time, and I will quickly show you why. This is how the player is gonna, actually this is run speed. This is how the player is gonna move while running without time that delta time. So we're writing here. Let's select the player. So we're just, you see where we are in a second. That's why you have to use time dot delta time. So multiply times time dot delta time. Now let's make a else function. This is for when we are not pressing our running key. Copy this same line of code, put it here, but instead of run speed, put walk speed. Now basically if W is being pressed, you're just gonna play this straight. Now if this is being pressed and also this, you're gonna run. So let's try it and maximize. Did I put times? Yep, times time delta time. Now let's try to, you see it's a lot smoother, and you can run also. Now right now I'm just gonna do a lot of copy and pasting, so just I will quickly explain everything, but just make sure you pay close attention. So for this, make a and just copy this, put it here and make it S. This way, if we're pressing S, it's not going backwards at the same time we are with W, so functions don't overlap it, because else you will be able to go backwards and at the same time go forwards and even run forwards. So now let's just copy this again, put it down here and make 2 new brackets. Now just also make sure you put the exclamation sign here. The exclamation sign basically means opposite of, or yeah, basically that, opposite of. Also put it down here. In this case, it's gonna be the opposite, because we're now coding the backwards movement. The one that should not be pressed is W, and the one that should be pressed is S. And let's straight up copy this line of code again and put it here. Now, as I said, we're gonna do a lot of copy and pasting. Take this that you just wrote and put it back here twice. Now we're gonna do the sides. For here, this is gonna be right. So D and A. Also, where the Y this code is, put it 0, because now we're moving to the side, so we gotta do it on the first number. So here will be X times walk speed times time dot delta time. Now just straight up copy this line and put it here. Also make sure you put here A and D. So now we should have our basic player movement set up. You see, you can move. Now, let's take care of the camera movement. I actually have a script already written, and honestly I hate writing the camera movement script, so I'm gonna just copy and paste the script and just show it to you all. Just give me a second. So here's my own script, the one that I use for the camera movement. As this is already written, I will just quickly go through what each thing does, and we can put it back in here, and we will have our character almost ready. We just have to code the crouching, and that will be it. So let's go into camera look. First, you have a transform variable. Again, this is referring to the position of a game object. That's what a transform variable does. Next, we have a bool, which is a true or false variable that states it checks if the camera can move or not. This is useful for when you're doing a main menu. When you open the main menu, camera cannot move, so you're not moving the camera of the player at the same time you're moving the mouse across the menus. Lock cursor basically does what it says. It hides or shows the cursor. Sensitivity, the speed of movement, which I multiply by 20, so you don't have to put like a number like 200 or 500, things like that. A smoothness, for the camera to look a bit smoother, which also helps to give a more natural feeling to it. Then the vertical top and bottom limits. This just states how far up or down you can look. And this just this doesn't really does anything. This just states it stores the current rotation up and down. As in my script, I previously used this for a recoil system for my guns, so that's why I have that in there. But in this case, you don't have to mind about it. Now, here on start, we just simply multiply sensitivity by 20. So next in update, if the cursor is locked, cursor that visible equals false, and the lock state, so cursor that lock state equals cursor lock mode that locked. If it's not lock cursor, the bool, else we just same thing, but in this case it's visible equals true and locked equals none. Then we're executing our get mouse movement function, which is this one down here. So here it says if you cannot, remember this means opposite or false. If you cannot move, you return. Basically here, from here on, nothing will be executed. Now if you can actually move, this function will be ignored and it will play all of this. We have a quick setup here, a variable that is X for looking to the sides and Y for looking up and down. We make that equals to the movement of the mouse, which is the same we use for the player movement over here, you see. But instead of horizontal and vertical, we're using mouse X and mouse Y. Then we multiply it by the sensitivity, by the smoothness, and by time dot delta time. I already explained why time dot delta time is so important. Now here, again, this is from the vertical rotation. So what we're doing here is storing the vertical rotation value. We make it plus Y. Plus if Y is moved 2 units up, vertical rotate will, instead of equals 0, it will equals 2. Then actually this is really useful because if you want to make a simple recoil system, you'll just have to put another function that is void recoil, and just simply say vertical rod plus equals and a number that will be your recoil. In this case, you could do it +5. Then you just have to play this function and you have a simple recoil system. So now let's get to the next thing. This basically rotates the player around its axis when you move around, you know. Now the next thing here, what this does is vertical rod equals mathf.clamp vertical rod, vertical top limit, and vertical bottom limit. Basically this is clamping the rotation, so it has a limit, so you're not like doing a full 360 rotation up. So that way you can just look a certain limit up and a certain limit down, and then here we just apply that rotation to the camera. So this is basically how it works. Now you just have to go over here, select your camera, drag the camera look script, and drag the player transform into here. Now in this case I like to use a vertical top limit of 80 and vertical bottom limit of actually not 60, 70. So this is how it looks. Okay, yeah, I am 100% I did something wrong for some reason. Player I don't know why that's happening. Okay, this is weird. Wait, I'd like to know why the camera is rotating like that. It's just like looking up or what? Oh, it's the rotation from the character, which is wrong. I just make sure it's in 0. So now it should look good. Right, you see, you can look to the sides, you can walk. So we're almost there. We just have to add jumping and crouching in. So for jumping, first than anything, for doing the jumping, we're gonna go to our player script. Now we need to check if we are on the ground, so we cannot just keep jumping on the air. Let's go and create a new void. Actually, not void, a bool function called grounded. This is gonna check if a character is actually hitting the ground. Again, I hate writing bool functions, especially this one. So I'm just gonna copy and paste the code and explain it to you all. So here's the function. Just don't mind this. So here's how it works. Every bool function must return a value of true or false. Doesn't matter. So in this case, we're returning this value, which I'm gonna explain. We use the extra height for making sure you're not hitting the actual player collider and you're actually hitting the ground. And this also works for if you want the player to not fall at a certain slope. You can just make sure to adjust that extra height here in the code, and you will just be getting it to actually make a kind of a realistic slope system, so you can slide down slopes. Then here we're using a raycast hit. What is a raycast? It basically shoots an invisible ray across the scene until it hits something. And here I'm using a sphere cast, which is the same thing, but instead of shooting a ray, it shoots a sphere, which works a lot for grounded, for checking if it's in the ground, because else it's just gonna shake right from the middle. So if you're like a centimeter away from the middle of the character, it will think you're not on the ground. So this is actually really useful for making sure you have a realistic way to shake it for the ground. Then here we are getting the position where the ray is gonna be shot. So, and wait, the position onto where it will be shot. So it will be from the capsule, from the center of the capsule up to the limits of it. Then this is the radius of the sphere. So how big is the area that you're standing going to be? How big of this check is gonna be? Then here we're saying the direction you have to check. If you want to check up, down, or to the sides, or forward or backwards. Then here we're sending that information to this variable that's stored here. And then we're just putting capsule that bounds that extends. So how far does the array has to go? We're going to go until the limits of the capsule across the top and bottom axis, which is the y, plus the extra height we put here, which I already explained what it is for. And then we're returning this value to breakcast hit that collider is not equals null. We're doing if it's not equals null. So now for making the jump, it's as easy as doing this. If we input dot get key down, key code dot space, in this case I'm gonna use the space key, you just have to actually and is grounded. Make sure to put these two extra brackets in there, parentheses, sorry. Oh, not even parentheses, I just forgot how that's named. So, and now here you just have to do RB, we're referring to our physics component, Rigidbody, dot I believe is velocity plus equals vector 3, referring to a 3D space object, dot up, and actually we're gonna have to add another variable down up here, another public float, which will be the jump force. Usually I keep it, I believe, around 7 or 8. I'm gonna keep it at 8 for now. Now, so vector 3 dot up times jump force. Here you don't have to use time.delta time, as this is only being played once. Now let's go here and see how it looks. Do you see? Oh, actually that's too much force. Let's put 4. It was 5.5 the value I used. So now you can jump. See, you can move, jump, and move your camera. Now here you have a basic character controller. This will be part 1 of the tutorial. Part 2, I guess I'll upload it tomorrow. So in part 2 we'll just finish the character, we'll add crouching and add the footstep system, plus cover the basic way to do some animations. Again, I'm not gonna be going to do too much depth on it, but if you can just use what I'll show in order to just do the rest of the animation system. But this is as much as we're gonna cover in this tutorial. I hope you'll like it, the video, and I hope it was helpful. The idea is to share my knowledge and help other indie developers make their own games. I'm also working on a review for Your Anim's guns. He's not paying me or anything. It's just I just want to review those because I like the animations. So hopefully you'll all see it soon. I'm just trying to get more footage and more to actually review, and not just a 1 minute long video, as that won't have much content. But that's pretty much all that's going on right now. I'll try uploading the video tomorrow. Again, I don't have the greatest history of uploading when I say so maybe you see it 2 or 3 days from now. But let's hope I'm able to upload the next video tomorrow. I hope you all liked the video. If you do, subscribe, leave a like, and comment.